Good morning, nature enthusiasts. I want to talk to you a little bit today about feathers. Feathers are amazing structures. They have evolved in birds and their bird ancestors, which were the theropod dinosaurs. But that's it. It's the only groups of animals that have ever had feathers. So this is a turkey feather. Turkey wing feather specifically. And there are some really amazing parts of a feather that I wanted to go over. So first, some basic anatomy. This and this are called a vein. This is the outer vein, and this is the inner vein. Through the middle, there is the shaft, which is divided into two sections. There's the rachis, which is the solid part, and the calamus, which is the hollow part. If you can ever pick up especially a large feather like this one, you might be able to see here. It's actually hollow through all this base area here. That's the calamus. Now, the veins are made up of these tiny little structures that run the length of the vein that make up the vein itself. They're called barbs. You can see here, if I bring this close, all these lines coming up, those are all the barbs. And you can see them very well if I split these apart. There you go. See that opening there? That's where the barbs have separated. The barbs hold together to form this solid cohesive vein using even smaller structures called barbules. And barbules kind of act like Velcro, where they have these little hooks and these little attachment points, and the hooks on one barb attach to the attachment hooks of the next barb. And so these barbules link together in this way and hold the entire vein of the feather together. Now, holding the vein of the feather together is important because it affects airflow over the surface of the feather. And that is what generates lift. It's what allows a bird to efficiently generate thrust. Lift and thrust are two of the forces, physical forces, that affect birds when they fly. So, thrust is simply the force driving an object forward through the air. And lift is the force pushing an object up away from the ground through the air, as it flies through the air. So, generating lift and thrust is incredibly important if you're a flying object of any kind. This is important for the design of airplanes. This is important in the evolution of birds and feathers. It's important in the evolution of flying insects or bats. One of the amazing things about feathers is, so you can see that I split this vein, right? I separated two barbs from one another, leaving this gap. Now this gap is not ideal if you're a flying object. You want a nice, consistent, solid surface that allows the air to move smoothly over it, and you get the most efficient flight possible. Now, feathers being feathers, this kind of gap, it happens. And that is one of the reasons why birds preen. Birds can spend a tremendous amount of their day taking care of their feathers. And you'll see birds take their bill and kind of pinch it and run down the length of the feather. And that's because they're trying to reattach the barbules of the barbs to one another and to sort of reestablish that smooth plane of the feather. So I'm going to actually try to use my beak here and try to do a little preening, see if I can get these back together again. Yeah, there they go. Now, my fingers, not as efficient at doing it as a bird, but you can see, not bad. Back together again. You can just Velcro these things, zipper them together, pull them apart, zipper together, pull them apart. And so that's one of the reasons why one feather can last so long. It's not a matter of being useful to a bird until it starts to split. Because when it starts to split, the bird can pull it back together again and keep on using that feather. Now, feathers do wear out. They are amazing structures. I mean, compared to their weight, they're incredibly strong. They have structure that allows them to be fairly solid, but they're also flexible. They can bend. But they wear out. And this is one of the things that causes birds to replace their feathers. Birds replace their feathers usually once or twice a year, depending on the kind of bird, in a process known as molt. Molt just means to lose feathers and grow feathers back. And there are all sorts of different ways that birds molt, and their patterns of when they replace specific feathers that vary from bird to bird. But all birds do this in some form or another. They molt their feathers and grow new ones. Sometimes this also results in a color change. There will be birds that molt in feathers that are useful in the non-breeding season, maybe more camouflage, maybe when they don't have to show off. But then when they're getting ready for the breeding season, they molt in feathers that are the bright, showy ones that are useful for defending territories or attracting mates. So lots of variation is possible when you have feathers that you can exchange once or twice a year, every once in a while. So that is a little bit about feathers, why they're amazing, and how birds use them and take care of them. Hope you enjoyed that. If you did, like this video, leave a comment. What are some amazing feathers you found? I'd love to see photos if you have any. Spectacular feathers. And share this video with some friends. Subscribe to the channel so you see when I post more, because more will definitely be coming. And keep your eyes out for feathers when you're out enjoying the natural world.